Hailey Van Lith proved everyone wrong. She proved almost everyone wrong because she has had an unbelievable year. She proved almost everyone wrong. She proved me right, by the way. Always. I hate being wrong a little bit more than I love being right, but man, I love being right. Good old Hailey Van Lith will bounce back. Hailey Van Lith will bounce back to stardom for TCU this year on this channel. And that's exactly what she did. Everybody thought Hailey Van Lith was done. And I don't understand. I get it. She's an undersized point guard. I do not understand why I've seen Georgia Amore mocked a 3 when Chicago still had 3. I've seen her mocked as high as 6, and I get it. She's a little bit better at running the show. And Hailey Van Lith, who's younger than Georgia Amore, and in my opinion is a better basketball player than Georgia Amore, steps up when it matters as a big game player. Why she's being talked about as a 3rd round pick. Hailey Van Lith has had her best season in college basketball. She's just won Big 12 Player of the Year. She's literally won Big 12 Player of the Year. She's possibly going to be an All-American second team. I'm not joking when I say that. TCU ended the season as the 8th seed. They were projected to be the 5th ranked team in the Big 12, which they won. They won the Big 12. And do you want to know why they won the Big 12? Because of her. Sedona Prince was there last year. Like, Hailey Van Lith is having her best season in college. And we're looking at a team that might go make the Elite 8. She averaged 5.4 assists, 17.6 points, and her field goal percentage of 45 is really good. They lost 3 games all year. Yes, they got destroyed by South Carolina, but they beat Notre Dame. Like, they literally beat Notre Dame. So you're looking at their 3 losses on the year. They lost to Oklahoma State by 1. They lost to Kansas State, who were the 12th ranked team in the nation. Neither of them are bad losses. And they beat Notre Dame. They did get destroyed by South Carolina. That is one thing. They got killed by South Carolina. They comfortably beat Notre Dame. How did they get on against other ranked opponents? They beat Utah, who were ranked at the time. They beat Baylor. They lost Kansas State by 9. They beat West Virginia who were the 17th ranked team in the nation, by 21. They beat Baylor again. They beat they were beating good teams. I know Iowa State weren't, like, everyone thought Iowa State were going to be good, and in the end they weren't. It's still not an easy win. Like, Iowa State still had, like, they were 15-9. They still had some decent wins. Like, if you look at that, like, they beat Kansas State by 22. Is there any other big wins they had for Iowa State? They lose to every ranked team they played. Dear Lord, they did. They actually did lose to every ranked team they played. They lost by 40, and they were like the 8th seed to start the year. Either way, like, TCU were 100 times better than they were meant to be because of Hailey Van Lith. That was everything she did. And she had some unbelievable games. Like, Hailey Van Lith, the last game she played, she had, like, not the greatest game. A lot of turnovers, Jesus. And in fairness to her, a lot of turnovers this year. But as we've seen, turnovers aren't the end of the world. They're not the end of the world. Ideally, you want as few of them as possible. But turnovers, in the grand scheme of things, don't mean as much as people say. And again, there's always different types of turnovers. If somebody is turning the ball over 6 times a game, and all 6 of the turnovers are them dribbling the ball and getting stripped and giving up an open layup, or passing the ball to someone for an open layup, that's significantly worse. And someone who's 6 turnovers are 6 dead ball turnovers. But I don't know enough about Hailey Van Lith to talk about that. But when I've watched her play, it didn't seem like turnovers were an issue. It genuinely did not seem like turnovers were an issue at all. Even though, looking through box scores, clearly they were. But what TCU have done this year, so much of it is off the back of bringing in Hailey Van Lith. And by the way, TCU had brought in Haley Cavinder. Haley Cavinder is a good player too. Like, Hailey Cavender is genuinely would have been a good player. But I don't understand why Hailey Van Lith is even in. There's even conversations that Hailey Van Lith might not be might not be drafted. I'm like, so many players, they're like, Hailey Van Lith's listed at 5'9". She's about 5'7". She is about 5'7". But there are so many 5'8" guards who are not putting up similar numbers, who are putting up worse numbers for worse teams. And they're being talked about as potential first round picks. It just, for me, it just doesn't make sense. She's that good. I think she's genuinely that good. Like, someone like Isaiah James is putting up, like, worse stats on a worse team. Well, a similar team. NC State and TCU are probably equal level team. And you might be saying, oh, Isaiah James cooked Notre Dame. So did Hailey Van Lith. So, like, Isaiah James is putting up basically identical stats on identical shooting. 45.4 from the field, 45.9. From 3 on the season, 33.1, 34.4. Okay, 1% better from 3. But Hailey Van Lith shoots 10% better from the free throw line. These are two players who, and again, I get it. James is a better defender than Hailey Van Lith. They're putting identical numbers for teams that are of equal level. And the difference is that I know Hailey Van Lith has got Sedona Prince on her team. But you're acting like James doesn't have the elite tier defender in Sanaya Rivers too. And NC State, by the way, made the Final Four last year. I don't think TCU made the tournament last year. I need to check. I don't think they made the tournament last year. TCU last year were 6-12 in conference play. They were 6-12 in conference play. They were first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. They were 9th in the conference last year. And by bringing in Hailey Van Lith, they already had Sedona Prince last year. By bringing in Hailey Van Lith, they went from 6th in conference play. They had to forfeit games due to lack of healthy players. Dear Lord, they had to try out for walk-on players. And, like, by the looks of it, they didn't make the tournament? Did they play in the tournament? They played in the WBIT, which is basically the NIT. And this year, they're projected to go to the Elite Eight. Whereas, they went Final Four last year, and they might not make Final Four again. And I've watched both of these players play. By the way, Isaiah James, if she goes in the first round, I'm fine with that. But I'm also fine if Hailey Van Lith goes in the first round. And I mean that. Hailey Van Lith, I get it, she's a super senior. And I get it, she's even a couple of months older than Paige Beckers. But I'm sorry, like, she just made a bad decision to go to LSU. She was projected to be a first-round pick in 2024, made a bad decision to go to LSU. It didn't work out for LSU, and everybody gave up on her because it didn't work out at LSU. But ironically, she has gone now to a team in TCU that are ranked higher than LSU because of her. Not with her, they're ranked higher than LSU because of her. She has bounced back. She is one of the 10 best players in college basketball this season. Like, for me, there is no South Carolina player that I would put on an All-American team before Hailey Van Lith. I would put, if it was me, my first team would be, it's a really tough one between Paige and Anissa Morrow, but clearly the top 4 are Tanaya Latson, Lauren Betts, Hannah Hidalgo, and Juju Watkins. And it's a really tough one between Anissa Morrow and Paige Beckers. So the 2 of those players will be in there. On the second team, for me, you're probably putting in like Lauren Betts. Sorry, not Lauren Betts. Anissa Morrow. Do you consider putting in Kiki Riafen? I don't think so, but I think people might consider it. Hailey Van Lith should probably be in there. It's a tough. Olivia Miles is probably on that second team, although I think there's an argument to be made that Sonia Citron has been a more impactful player for that team, but Olivia Miles is going to be there. Then, if you're looking at bigs, I don't know about Sedona Prince. I genuinely don't know. was trying to think even just off the top of my head. Like, I actually think Lucy Olsen's in with a shout for All-American second team. I don't think she's going to get it, but she's in with a shout. And that's the thing where it's like she's an All-American. Hailey Van Lith is an All-American again. She probably should have stayed at Louisville. If Hailey Van Lith stayed at Louisville, she'd be in the WNBA right now. But like, what people don't get is they're like, oh, Hailey Van Lith, she was bad at LSU. So what has she done since LSU? She's played 3-on-3 at the Olympics, and I know 3-on-3 is not everything, but with the way people are talking about Chelsea Gray and the way people are talking about Angel Reese, you would think it means everything. She played 3-on-3 and outplayed Ryan Howard and De'Arca Amby. And again, she was the best player. She made the All-Olympic team in 3-on-3. She then went to TCU and played as well, if not better, than she'd ever played at Louisville. Probably better. And has a good chance of leading this team. If this team makes the Sweet 16, doesn't make the Sweet 16, at least it's been a disappointing season. And this is crazy considering the fact that even with people rated Hailey Van Lith so low coming into the season that this team was not projected to make the tournament. And right now they're probably going to be a 2 seed, maybe a 3 seed in the tournament. But anyway, I'll see you guys.